Graduands, guests and colleagues, my name is Mary Howarth and I am delighted to welcome you all to graduation. I have a few announcements to make before we begin so that you can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Graduands, an easy job to start with. Please check that your seat number matches the number on your ticket because you'll be called to the stage in this order. If you discover that these do not match, our team of stewards can help you to locate the correct seat. At the appropriate time, you'll be invited by the stewards to stand and to make your way to the foot of the stairs, ready to head up the stairs and across the stage. All very straightforward. There are two key things which make for a seamless ceremony. Firstly, as soon as the person ahead of you begins to cross the stage, please make sure you make your way up the stairs. Please don't wait until they've passed across the stage before you reach the top of the stairs. Secondly, don't let excitement and pride overwhelm you so much that you forget to pick up your degree parchment after you've crossed the stage. If you do, don't worry, you have still graduated. But don't try to go back because you will collide with someone coming the other way. Instead, please visit the graduation information desk in the Spring Lane building where you collected your gown 30 minutes after the ceremony to collect your parchment. Graduands, you are asked to raise or doff your cap rather than shake hands with the Vice-Chancellor when you're called on stage. And if you are wearing a face covering, please feel free to temporarily remove it whilst on stage. And please do all pause for a moment at the spot marked X in the centre of the stage for that all-important photo opportunity. At the end of the ceremony, graduates are asked to process out of the hall directed by the stewards. Family and friends, the stewards will show you to the exits once the graduates have left the hall. If the fire alarm should sound at any point, please remain in your seats. Instructions will be given and will escort you to the nearest exit. Today, our graduating students become alumni of the University of York, and you will join an international community of over 140,000 York alumni in 180 countries. Your Alumni Association is a vibrant and active global network offering events and services and opportunities designed to help you make connections with other alumni across the world and to support your career development. We will be there for you every step of the way as you embark on this next chapter, and you'll shortly receive an email giving further details of the ways in which you can remain connected and remain involved. Please do follow our alumni social media channels on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and check out the Alumni Association website to keep in touch and learn more about life as a York graduate. As you get your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us in touch with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you take will help us to provide the right support for current students and make sure we continue to offer graduates like you relevant information and opportunities. Please remember to join us for our celebratory reception following the ceremony in the Exhibition Centre, where you'll be able to celebrate your achievement with a complimentary glass of fizz and a selection of refreshments. Finally, can I please ask you to mute your mobile phones, and if you're comfortably able, will you all please now stand?
morning and a very, very warm welcome to the University of York. My name's Charlie Jeffrey. I'm the Vice-Chancellor and President. Please be seated. Now, what a special occasion this is. This is the first time we've been able to hold summertime graduation ceremonies in person since 2019, 3 years ago. And of course, most of you in our graduating class of 2022 started here in September 2019. So you have lived and studied through the most extraordinary and challenging period that the university has ever faced. So what a delight it is to see you, class of 2022, mark your achievements in this way, in glorious three-dimensional presence in our wonderful, slightly warm graduation hall with your family and friends and with your academic colleagues looking on. Your years at university, because of the whole COVID thing, will be among the most extraordinary you'll experience in your lifetimes. COVID had such far-reaching, awful impacts on health, economy, society. And amid that, we saw unprecedented disruption to our operation as a university, which of course affected you in your life and study here. I'm going to reflect more towards the end of the ceremony on the challenges we have all faced, but especially those that you, our graduates, have had to face over the last 3 years. But now we move on to the main part of the ceremony. It's your part of the ceremony, when we invite you to cross the stage, reflect on all of your achievements, and be absolutely cheered to the rafters by all the friends, family and supporters that you have in this hall. And that is a challenge to the friends, family and supporters, by the way. And so, without further ado, let me declare this congregation open for the conferment of awards upon all graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Martin Webber will present awards on behalf of the Department of Social Policy and Social Work.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Philosophy in Social Policy and Social Work, for research in Global Civil Society and IGOs, Lucy McTurnan. For research in how marketisation has affected public universities, Vladislav Popov. For the degree of Master of Arts in Public Policy and Management, Catherine Uphill. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social Policy, Rian Anderson. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social Work, Abigail Margaret Allen. Grace Bathurst. Samantha Carr. Jack Crabtree. Naomi Alendu. Meg Gentle. Lilani Magagula. Emma Martin. Chloe Merritt. Shira Sagarika Mushinuri. Charlie Pendlebury. Rebecca Purdy. Katie Robinson. Kimberly Robinson. Davison Sedze. Maddie Stevenson. Emma Whitfield. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social Work Practice, think ahead, Simeon Brown. Maria Wild. For the degree of Master of Public Administration in Comparative Applied Social and Public Policy Evaluation and Research, Niputu Purnami Jayanti. For the degree of Master of Public Administration in Public Administration, International Development, Umar Kiyimba. For the degree of Master of Public Administration in Public Administration, Jamie Filbert. For the degree of Master in Social Work, Alex Appleby Reid. Vanessa Atipoe. Emily Bray. Anna Cantin. Lucy France. Lydia Francis Mills. Brianna Parker. Amy Patel. Gemma Thomas. Olivia Wilkes. Ryan Woodmansey. For the degree of postgraduate diploma in public policy and management, David Dubé. For the degree of postgraduate diploma in social work, Claire Dobson. Neva Deetha Pradeep. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Applied Social Science, Josephine Andrews. Zuleika Akil. Elizabeth Flint Smith. Nikki Kataria. Anna Mellish. Madeline Tharp. Sarah Zatt. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Policy, Fu Shangxi. Christina Majdi. Eve McDermott. James Mitchell. Georgia Morley. Thomas Weston. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Policy, Children and Young People, Oluwafikunere Aderemi. Josephine Alicia McClellan. Leah Wright. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Policy, Crime and Criminal Justice, Lena Louise Agunbor. Rowena Ballieu. Lucy Bell. Lois Burnett. Sarah Constable Smith. Katerina D'Angelo. Jemima Dath. Abby Ditcham. Taylor Fleming. Ellie Forrest. Kira Harrison. Eve Henderson. Isabella Hughes. Zoe Jack. Abby Jackson. Rihanna Jarvis. Zuiting Kang. Katie McCormick. Anna Marie Nazarin. Beth Platt. Joseph Rendell. Emily Richards. Elizabeth Smith. Anna Urban. Imogen Webb. And for the Diploma of Higher Education in Social Policy, Crime and Criminal Justice, Olivia Dougherty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Duncan Petrie will present awards on behalf of the Department of Theatre, Film, Television and Interactive Media.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Theatre, Film, Television and Interactive Media by Creative Practice, for Research in Interactive Storytelling in Cinematic VR, Tobias Palmestade. For the degree of Master of Arts in Theatre Making, Anna Berneka. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Theatre, Writing, Directing and Performance, Louis Ashpool. Finlay Avison. Lily Ball. Rebecca Banner. Charlotte Bullemont. Sophie Burton. Ellie Butcher. Phoebe Butcher. Nathan Butler. Lorna Capewell. Niamh Carey. Melissa Cartwright. Francis Colin Morrison. Jessica Dale. Daniel Jalili. Jared Donald. Caitlin Draper. Lorne Elvin. Zoe Freeman. Millie G. Land. Piers Gilfillan. Georgie Green. Charlotte Hammond. Annabelle Lunny. Thomas Mason. Alice Merritt. Holly Mowat. Ava Nachi. Connie Peel. Emma Povey. Emma Prestige. Imogen Roberts. Isabel Rye. Liam Shaw. Amy Sinclair. Elle Slater. Tom Spence. Isabel Stevens.
Ladies and gentlemen, Economy will perform Don't Stop Believing by Journey, arranged by Owen Butcher.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took a midnight train going anywhere.
Just a city boy on a rhythm South Detroit. Took the midnight train going anywhere. Sing a rich smoky room, small wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting, up and down the boulevard. Their shadows searching in the night. Streetlight people living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill, paying anything to roll the dice. Just one more time. Some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. No, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on.
touching in the night. Da-da. Street light. People living just to find emotion. Hiding somewhere in the night. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people. Don't stop.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Theatre, Writing, Directing and Performance, Laurie Stott. Amy Thorpe. Ione Vaughan. Harry Wade. Beth Walker. Grace Williams. Jamie Wilson Law. Alp Yaziki. Emily Youngson. Jill Fiona Yue. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Film and Television Production, Alize Akhtar. Charlie Aston. Vittoria Avigliano. Dori Bano. Matthew Beatty. Eva Bird. Sophie Louise Bolwell-Davis. Zach Bratt. Callan Brody. Katie Bushell. Jude Coker. Bethany Colbeck Rowe. Harry Cole. Thomas Cronin. Jade Daly. Stefan Darling. Oliver Davis. Hallam de Cruz. Lewis Dixon. Callum Everett. Marina Coelho. Cameron Galloway. Matilda Garland. John Gilbert. Rosie Gill. Alexander Hobbs. Livia Holbrook. Bailey Holland. Poppy Holloway. Yun Ting Sunny Shah. Leah Jessen. Rachel Jessett. Li Jiang. Bethan Jones. Omara Khan. Gary Kerlova. Daniel Lewis. Robin McKillop. Charlotte Moscow. Bethany Moore. Kira Moore. Izzy Norwood. Okay, it's still me. Vice-Chancellor and President, what do the following film and television productions have in common? Peaky Blinders, All Creatures Great and Small, Dad's Army, God's Own Country, The Duke, Official Secrets, National Treasure, Ali and Eva, The Witcher, Gentleman Jack, Ackley Bridge. Answer: they were all made here in Yorkshire and supported in various ways by Screen Yorkshire, an organisation led from 2006 until the end of 2021 by Sally Johnson, our honorary graduate who I'm delighted to be presenting today. In her role as Chief Executive of Screen Yorkshire, Sally has provided exemplary leadership and vision in nurturing and supporting the screen industries in our region, utilising her formidable skills in cultivating businesses, establishing networks and forming high-level partnerships, playing a pivotal role in the growth of some of Yorkshire's most successful independent producers, from the globally acclaimed Warp Films to the multi-award-winning True North Productions, and helping Yorkshire and the Humber become one of the most successful and high-profile production centres in the UK for film, television and games, generating an annual turnover of more than £1.1 billion and supporting more than 12,000 jobs. Sally grew up in Amersham, Buckinghamshire, before coming to Yorkshire to study for a degree in history. She subsequently joined the BBC, working initially in local radio before moving to television. Sally then joined the newly created Yorkshire Media Training Consortium, where she was responsible for developing and delivering training programmes for industry professionals, leading business development for screen companies and schemes for new entrants. This paved the way for Sally to become the second person to be hired by Screen Yorkshire in 2002, one of a new network of 9 regional screen agencies established by the UK Film Council to provide modest support for filmmaking, exhibition, education and other media-related activities. Sally served initially as Head of Industry Development before being promoted to Chief Executive in 2006. As one of the most ambitious and visionary members of the new network, Screen Yorkshire helped to nurture local creative talent and to attract incoming productions by capitalising on the region's wide range of locations, urban and rural, natural and human-made. Among the feature films it supported during this period were Shane Meadows' This Is England, Andrea Arnold's innovative adaptation of Wuthering Heights, and Julian Jarrold's Bridehead Revisited, filmed at Castle Howard. Following the abolition of the UK Film Council in 2010, the regional screen agencies were integrated into a single organisation, Creative England. But Sally was determined to keep Screen Yorkshire alive, despite a loss of funding and staff cuts of more than 80%. In 2012, she relaunched the organisation as a commercial investor with the new Yorkshire Content Fund, a £15 million initiative supported by the European Regional Development Fund that required qualifying projects to provide match funding. The first investment was in a new period drama set not in Yorkshire but Birmingham called Peaky Blinders, which went on to become a broadcasting phenomenon. Since then, the fund has attracted more than 50 productions to the region and leveraged in excess of £220 million of production business. In 2015, Screen Yorkshire launched a new major film and TV production space, the Church Fenton Yorkshire Studios, which has since been home to other high-profile series, including ITV's Victoria and the BBC's Gentleman Jack. This activity, driven by Sally, has made York and Humber one of the most important and successful regions in the UK for the creative industries, with the fastest growth in the UK from 2009 to 2015. This was one of the key factors in Channel 4's relocation to Leeds in 2019, with Sally a major player in the campaign for the city to become the channel's new home, seeing off strong competition from Birmingham and Manchester in the process. Sally has also recognised the need to champion underrepresented talent and address industry skills shortages through a slate of new schemes introduced by Screen Yorkshire. These include Beyond Brontes, which has notched up an impressive track record of getting 73% of its participants into screen sector work. The UK's first Centre of Screen Excellence, in partnership with Screen Skills in the National Film and Television Society, which supports training in craft and technical grades, and Connected Campus, which has facilitated new opportunities for creating a pipeline from university to the industry and retaining creative talent in the region. In 2018, Sally won the Outstanding Contribution Award at the Royal Television Society Yorkshire Programme Awards, and in 2021 was justly awarded a National RTS Fellowship for her sustained contribution to the film and television industry. Sally has also been a staunch supporter of the development of creative industry initiatives at the University of York. As a highly engaged member of the Department of Theatre, Film, Television and Interactive Media's External Advisory Board, and as the DC Labs Advisory Board, and through Screen Yorkshire as a partner in the university's XR Stories and Sign projects, funded by the AHRC and Research England. I'm personally delighted that she's also agreed to become the first chair of the Advisory Board for the new School of Arts and Creative Technologies, which comes into existence on the 1st of August. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of her invaluable service to the creative industries in Yorkshire and the Humber, and her unstinting commitment to promoting the economic, cultural and educational advantages of a thriving creative sector in the region and nationally, I have the honour to present to you Sally Johnson for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you. You're going to have to do all that again in a moment. Through the power vested in me by the University of York, I have great pleasure, Sally, in conferring upon you the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you very much.
Are you going to say a few words?
Thank you very much indeed. Graduates, Vice-Chancellor, members of the audience. Professor Petrie, thank you so much for your kind words this morning, and to the University. Thank you very much indeed for this award. I am really honoured and very humbled to receive it. Professor Petrie, I've worked alongside your department for a number of years now, and I've been through the name changes as TFTI adapts to mirror the ever-changing landscape. The responsibility, the professionalism and the dedication of you and your team has never failed to impress me as you prepare the students for the world of work and their careers. Graduates, as that is what you now are, your challenge is even greater. You've got this far. Now you've got to go out and create the future. So do it with confidence, aim high, you've got nothing to lose and you've got everything to gain. This is your time now. Had you told me when I was graduating where my professional life would take me, I'm really not sure I'd have believed you. The young me would have been utterly overwhelmed by the responsibilities that I would end up taking on, and I would have been convinced that all of that was well beyond my skill set. Don't you ever think like that. Film and television were the only industries I ever aspired to work in. In fact, when I was a child, my mum says I used to practice being a children's TV presenter, playing to an imaginary camera in our kitchen. But when I graduated, the reality of actually trying to get into this industry was a million miles away from where I was. After graduation, I spent 3 years of doing different jobs, all of them fine, but none of them in the media. In the end, I took a very big pay cut, very big, very painful pay cut, and I got an entry-level job at the BBC. This was not exactly what I thought was going to happen, but it's a small step in the right direction. It took me a bit of time and a few swerves to really find my niche in the industry, and it worked out okay in the end. But by the time I joined Screen Yorkshire in 2002, I had seen my own experience played out time and time again. People with real talent, real enthusiasm and a real passion for the industry, frustrated by a lack of opportunity. Things had to change, and I made it my job to make sure that happened. My vision for Screen Yorkshire has been all about trying to grow an industry out of London, a thriving, creative industry full of opportunities for people like you and the frustrated young me to fulfil their dreams and ambitions. It's undoubtedly been very hard at times, but I've been so inspired by all the people that I've worked with, whether they have been MDs of big Hollywood film companies or a small Yorkshire-based indie, a seasoned freelancer or a new entrant to the sector, or even the 92-year-old man that I met in Bradford recently, who has been making amateur films for the last 70 years. They have constantly inspired me and driven me to do more, to do it better and to do it bigger, and it's been a privilege to work with all of them. I hope as you begin your careers today, you will work in an industry that you have aspired to work in, and that you will be surrounded by people who inspire you. And I hope, as my journey shows, it doesn't matter if things don't fall into place immediately, or if you're not sure what you want to do. Time is on your side, graduates. So keep going, stick with it, and things will fall into place. Above all, be brave and be bold, because you are the people who will shape the future, and you are all going to be brilliant. Thank you again, University, for this award.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Film and Television Production, Lucy Phillips. Lewis Rees-Stevens. Alexei Reich. Madison Robinson. Olivia Seymour. Kevin Shung, Hardeep Singh, Anderson Smith, Harvey Swain, Tabitha Templar. Joseph Thornton. Oliver Tompkins. Abigail Tutty. Marta Vitola. Joe Welsh. Holly Whitmarsh-Jones. Daniel Whittington. Isaac Wood. Oliver Woodgate. Samuel Woodhouse. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Film and Television Production with placement year, Jack Reeve. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Interactive Media, Ziyad Abu Hussein. Sarah Alumari. Cynthia Austin. Peter Bates. Nathan Bray. Jinru Chai. Longfang Chan. Bohan Chen. Ben Dillon. Hongxi Du. Yekaterina Farulina. Jacob Folwell. Billy Keats. No. Oh, sorry. Joe Johnson. Yuben Young. Now this time, Billy Keats. Eric Kim. Wei Liang. Hong Li Liu. Rain Liu. Enyo Lupo. Anya Mahmoud. Emily Patterson. Hannah Pope. Maria Reinhardt. Oscar Thomas. Victoria Tompkins. Dominic Ward. Holly Wright. Tian Tian Yang. Xiyu Zhang. Yuhan Zhou. Xiaoya Zhu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Interactive Media with a year in Enterprise, Harrison Dante Fornacier. Emily Martin. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Interactive Media with placement year, Ella Woods.
It is my enormous pleasure to introduce Rowena Ballew, our student orator who will speak on behalf of the class of 2022. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2022, I give you Rowena Ballew.
Good morning, family, friends, and fellow graduates. It is an honor to be standing here and congratulating you all in this graduation ceremony. We have had a challenging journey to reach where we are now, but we overcame it successfully and rigorously and rose above the challenges. University of York has not only had a major impact on my present development, both academically and personally, but it gave me a clear idea on what I want to do in my future career. It's allowed me to be part of different societies and express my opinion on controversial, hard, and sensitive topics. And this is an opportunity to thank the university and USU for allowing students to be part of the societies and explore different areas of preference. Thank you. It allowed me to be able to be the Secretary of Eliminating Domestic Abuse Society. And in this way, I understood how key this issue was and how much I wanted to have a hand in progress and change. I was able to volunteer with the IDAS, the Independent Domestic Abuse Services, thanks to the Careers and Placement Department, which I would like to thank profoundly for their help and hard work. Throughout this experience, it shaped my understanding of the issue, and it allowed me to further my future with a law degree. And this volunteering experience helped me to understand who requires support. And who would have thought that after 3 years, I would have such a clear idea on what I want to do with my future. As when I first came to the University of York, I was a scared, sensitive, emotional student. International as well. But thanks to everyone in the university, my fellow graduates, my lecturers, and everyone else who welcomed me with so much understanding and respect, I felt that I belonged here. And may we take this volunteering experience and this university experience and grow, because University of York has not only had a major lifelong impact on us, but it shaped all of us. It assisted on our growth and helped us to understand who we are and who we want to be. I would also like to thank all our personal supervisors who not only helped us with our academics, but also on our personal issues. Thank you, and congratulations to you all again, and I wish everyone a successful and happy life ahead.
Thank you very much, Rowena. Graduates, guests and colleagues, to be presiding over a ceremony like this is such a joy. We're marking the creativity, the energy, the passion and the sheer hard work that you, our graduates, have put into your studies. We had to do that for the last 2 summer graduation sessions on Zoom, but on Zoom you can't really look into the eyes of our graduates and convey in the same way as I can in person just how proud I and my colleagues are of you. Now, I said at the start of this ceremony I'd give some further reflections on the challenges we've all faced over the last 2 or 3 years. And I guess many of you will remember when 2.5 years ago we were the lead item in the news, the centre of national and international attention when York saw the first confirmed COVID cases in the UK. One of them, a student of ours. Little did we know, amid the media maelstrom at the time, that this was just a prelude. And since then, of course, COVID has taken a horrifying toll, with over 6 million deaths worldwide, very severe economic disruption, and we've all endured at various points so many restrictions on our normal social interactions. Little did we know all of that 2.5 years ago when we had those first cases in York. But there was something in that experience in late January 2020 that set a tone which has endured. So let me pick out some recollections from our initial encounter with COVID in January 2020. First and foremost, there was an extraordinary sense of shared purpose that arose immediately across the university community. Even though things were uncertain, because nobody knew very much about COVID at that point, students and staff and people across the city came together. It was heartening, for example, to see Samara Jones, the then president of our Students' Union, on the front steps of the university before the amassed TV cameras and a really quite frenzied pack of journalists, basically saying, "You lot keep calm, we've got this under control." And when we set up a call centre to deal with all the many anxious inquiries that came our way, we had more volunteers from among our staff to man the phones than we had phones. They understood the anxiety that people felt, and they responded with care and compassion. And when a tiny minority in the city resorted to stereotypes and scapegoating about where the virus had first been discovered, the response in the city and within the university was emphatic. We are not having that here. That is not acceptable. Instead, the city rallied round. We worked from the off with the City Council, the NHS in York, York St John University just down the road, to manage that uncertain situation together. And that set a tone which persisted and I think was a tremendous asset for us all over the last 2 or 3 years. So those responses, shared purpose, compassion, solidarity, collaboration, became emblems of how this university approached COVID. Let me pick out a few examples concerning both students and staff, and I'm going to dwell first on my colleagues and the combination of dedication, hard work and creativity over the last few years. Now, at times we had to shift teaching and support services fully online. At times we could do some things in person but not others. Only about a year ago, almost to the day, were we able to move generally to in-person activity. Government guidance kept on changing, and my colleagues, lecturers, timetablers, technicians, cleaners, they had to adapt again and again, and that was, to be frank, a strain, especially when we were all getting used to working from home, and especially when many of us had homeschooling to contend with too. What was also extraordinary was how all of that flexibility and adaptability was accompanied by continuing outstanding research achievement. My colleagues found the time and the inventiveness to continue their research. Just look at all the great stories on our website at the moment. That is research that was largely done during those really difficult times in the pandemic. And of course, lots of our research in all parts of the university, including the departments with graduates crossing the stage today, have been focused on COVID and its effects. Extraordinary too was the way that staff of all kinds mobilised over the last years to support the welfare of our students. Perhaps the most difficult moment we faced was in October 2020, when over 2,500 students, over 10% of our students, were in COVID self-isolation on campus and around the city. I presume, including some of you here today. We had to make sure they were fed, and had other essentials. That was a huge logistical effort, and we could only do it through staff from all backgrounds, volunteering on top of their day jobs or just dropping their day jobs to make up food packs, to deliver them wherever they needed to go in the city, to phone students to make sure they were okay, and much more. So, I'd like to record my thanks to my colleagues and to call on you, our graduates, to applaud our outstanding staff for all they've done for you during your time at the university. But another big part of our COVID response concerns you, our students, our graduates. It was an extraordinarily difficult time for you. Teaching having to be delivered in different ways, less in-person contact than any of us would have wanted, and all those other parts of the student experience, sports, societies, nightlife, at times in part or even wholly off limits. Many students had COVID, many more had to self-isolate because someone in their flat came down with it. Some struggled, I know, financially because part-time work dried up amid all those COVID restrictions. And the whole experience, I know, was taxing on mental health and well-being. That sounds like a tale of woe, but there's much more to it than that. It's not the whole story. That's in part because of the commitment of our staff to support students as best they could. It's in part because you were so resilient and adaptable. You adapted to studying in different ways, and you actually helped us to understand better how to use online teaching methods. You adapted to socialising in different ways, with all sorts of creative online activity, but also lots of outdoor socialising. We had an outdoor facility called the Forest, and it was booked out every night it was allowed to open by student societies, sports clubs, colleges, no matter what the weather. And sometimes it got a bit chilly out there in the forest, but nonetheless it was full every night. And then there were our students' unions, represented here today by Hannah Nimmo. They were really, really inventive. They worked with my colleagues to identify student needs and to help us to solve them, or to nag us to solve them in many cases. For example, making sure we had literally hundreds of 4G boosters to distribute to students with unreliable Wi-Fi when we had to do everything online, including things like Christmas hampers in December 2020 for students who, one reason or another, couldn't get home because of COVID. Working with us to help raise over £2 million in emergency student support funding, reflecting that fact that students couldn't do part-time jobs they were used to doing. Lobbying with us to push the government to recognise student hardship during the pandemic. We weren't entirely successful in that, but we pushed hard and got a little bit of success from it. And beyond all of that, our students rallied to support the communities around us. Our COVID test site on campus, it was a community test centre open to everyone in the city, was staffed throughout by students. Students volunteered in the community in all sorts of ways. We heard an example earlier from Rowena. One that stands out for me in a very different field was our student tea and coffee club, which before COVID, absolutely wonderful, held coffee mornings on campus to provide companionship and conversation for elderly citizens in the community around us. They couldn't do that, of course, with COVID, not allowed. But they pivoted straight away to phone conversations, help with shopping, socially distanced chats across the garden fence, and all sorts. Wonderful, and one of many, many examples of students mobilising here in York to support the communities around them. That was you lot. You've done fantastically to get your degrees, but you've done more than that. You've shown resilience, commitment and compassion for others around you. So I'd like to encourage my colleagues and the friends and family in this hall to mark their appreciation for your academic and all of those other achievements. Thank you very much. Thanks also to your family, friends and supporters here in the hall today and elsewhere. At times it would have been really difficult for them because of COVID, not having all the usual ways of interacting with you. But nonetheless, I'm sure their support was vital to you during your period here at the university. All sorts of advice, occasional shoulder to cry on, surprise packages of lockdown goodies, I know, were something which challenged our post-room staff quite a bit during the pandemic. And no doubt some money made its way from your families to you to help you through it all. Now, I have to say, this has been quite possibly the most raucous of the graduation ceremonies we've had. I couldn't even finish my sentence. That's just how raucous you are. And I was delighted by how students from the same cohort were really raising the roof as their colleagues crossed the stage. And I heard also some quite loud and sometimes quite strange noises from around the hall. What I'd like you to do now, graduates, is to stand up and look to wherever your family and friends are in the hall and really, really raise the roof for them, please. Now, of course, at the start of the next graduation ceremony in a couple of hours' time, I'm going to have to say, look, we had what we think was the most raucous one. Can you lot better it this time? So we'll see at the end of the week who wins the prize. Finishing off now, last word is, please do think hard about your experience here at York and your experience during COVID. You are literally a unique generation of graduates. You've got the same academic credentials as earlier generations do. Like them, you worked hard and you mastered your subjects, you got your degrees. But you have something more. You had COVID to contend with as well as you did all of that. And I think this university and the communities around us had a very distinctive and almost instinctive approach to COVID, which was based in compassion and solidarity, based in looking out for one another. And you were part of that. It's an example of I think, shared values which this university holds dear. And I hope you'll take that with you as you move on into the next stage of your life. I am sure it's going to be something that will help you to future successes. So thank you again very much. And with one final peal of raucousness, I declare that this congregation is closed, and would you please stand up?